Thank you all for tuning in to my live. This is SheLovesThee with a Jackson State Signing Day 3.0 special. I just quickly wanted to go over the commits that we've had since signing day because it was just getting to be way too much for me to handle trying to do all those different video inserts. So we're just going to go over all the recruits. It's going to be a short show. I just wanted to keep everybody um, in tune with the commits that are coming into Jackson State. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you could go ahead and like the stream. If this is your first time here, you might as well go ahead and subscribe because we are going to be going over recruits. I'm thinking for the next week, we're going to continue to get more and more recruits, or excuse me, commits in the next, I would venture to say, the next couple of days. We're going to get a lot of recruits that they already knew they were coming to Jackson State. They were just waiting on that portal to open up. So that's why I think when Ken Clark said, we know what we have, we know what we got, they meant that. So, of course, Jamon McNeil, he committed roughly a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. Linebacker out of Lackawanna College. If you guys haven't, please go to my YouTube channel. I do have a video just going over Mr. McNeil, but he's a 6'2", 220 linebacker. He'll probably be playing inside linebacker. I wanted to make a note about all of the recruits, or excuse me, the commits that we are going to see the next couple of weeks. More than likely, they're going to be experienced veterans. A lot of grad transfers coming in, adding not only depth, but experience. If you took a look at the class that we signed on early signing day and then national signing day, a lot of our recruits are young. And though they could possibly start day one in the SWAC, it's great for us to add all of this different experience that they're bringing to the table. I'm excited. It seems like the portal opened up on Saturday and everybody was expecting for a wave of Jackson State players entering the portal. But for the most part, the players that have entered the portal, they weren't even on the team for at least a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. Even since spring practice started, these players weren't on the team. You didn't see them at the practice. So it wasn't a surprise when these players entered the portal. Next up, we have the defensive back, Jaheim Hazel. This was the first commit that we got today. And he is a grad transfer from Wofford. Interesting enough, Wofford is where Irv Mulligan is coming from. It says, Taylor Lewis was a defensive tackle JSU was talking to. Ken interviewed him months ago. Is there any update on him? So I have not heard anything else about Taylor Lewis. What I will say is this: there is no short supply of quality recruits or commits that want to come to Jackson State. I can go ahead and look on his page. I don't see anything on here. It looks like Southern offered him. I don't see anything on his page. I do see that he did do an interview, but I don't see anything regarding Taylor Lewis committing to any other school for that matter. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. What I like about it says On3 had him crystal ball to JSU. That's why I'm asking. So I actually don't have an update on him, but what I do like is I like the element of surprise. And that is Jackson State just keeping hush and letting everybody talk. I like that better than people announcing to the world, I went on a visit with Jackson State, blah, 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 blah. I like it better when they just boom say, I'm committed to Jackson State. I think it's an element of surprise, and it's something that's needed for Jackson State just because we have, some people that are trying to disrupt our recruiting process. So I actually like it better when we don't say anything. And here it is Monday, and you have 4 people who obviously they've already taken their visits, they've already took their pictures. So everybody in the Jackson State football in the back room, they know who's committing. Those people who have said I'm committing to Jackson State, they know as well. They're just waiting on that trigger that says drop the picture. So I like this element of surprise for Jackson State. It also changes that narrative. There was a narrative earlier with Savion Wilkerson entering the transfer portal, which he hasn't been on Jackson State's football team for at least a month and a half, even before Pro Day. So I like it. I think it's great. Let's see who we have next. Solomon Rogers. And I'm going to pull up his bio on the website that they have on the Charlotte website. And I'm going to just read it to you guys so you can get a feel of these players and exactly what it is that we are getting. So bear in mind that a lot of these websites, the only thing that I would probably be careful to note is the weight factor and sometimes even the height, because a lot of times these heights and weights are taken like when they first get to school and they never update them. So Solomon Rogers could very well weigh more than 197, and he could be taller than 5'10". That's just what it says on the website. Sometimes they don't update it. And as we know that a lot of the recruits are not finished growing, and they, add on a couple inches and they definitely bulk up a little bit more. So this is the defensive back / safety. He is from UNC Charlotte. Interesting enough, as you guys know, that is where Katron Evans transferred to, UNC Charlotte. So at Charlotte, Solomon Rogers, he ranked 22nd all-time with 116 career tackles. He was 25th of the Niners to reach 100 career tackles, 2-year starting safety. He enrolled in January 2019. In 2022, he played in 5 games, making 5 starts. 4th on the team with 52 tackles, 32 solo. And then it just talks about his different breakout games that he had. He averaged 5.2 tackles per game, a tackle, 4th with 3.5 tackle for loss. He has 1 interception, 1 pass breakup, and 1 quarterback hurry. He had a high of 13 tackles, 9 solo with 3 tackles for loss at the UAB game, 8 tackles in a win at Georgia State, 6 tackles versus Western Kentucky University, and in a season-ending win over Louisiana Tech, added 0.5 tackles for loss versus LA Tech. His first career interception was at Middle Tennessee. So why is it so important that Jackson State recruits some of these vets? Why would, and by the way, Our defensive back coach is Coach Quinn, Terenzo Quinn. He is from, he originally was coaching at Alcorn State, and he came over here with Coach Bradley, of course. So I think this is a huge get right now. I'm very impressed with this pickup. Just because he is seasoned, he's a hard hitter, and I think that it will help develop some of our younger players as well. I don't know if any of you had a chance to watch our National Signing Day special, but one of the huge gets that Coach Quinn was able to get was 3-star Nyreek Sharp. Nyreek Sharp was crystal ball to Georgia Tech. Jackson State came out of nowhere. Like, he literally went on a visit to Jackson State, and then I think not even a week and a half later was National Signing Day, and he signed to Jackson State. So adding this safety / defensive back to our secondary, it's a no-brainer. And I want to also emphasize how important it is for the players who are committing. They are committing to Jackson State, and most importantly to TC Taylor. So why is that important? There's a lot of players that were jumping in and out and trying to figure out, whether or not they were going to stay at Jackson State or they're going to enter into the portal because of our last coach's exit. That's fine. You have to pick a side and stay there. So the recruits that are coming in, they're here because they believe in Jackson State and what the culture is now, who the coaches are now. That's, so I like that. Let's go ahead and look at the next player. John Graves III. He's a defensive lineman, and he's coming from Southeast Louisiana. That was the first commit that we got last night. Huge get. His dad informed me that his height and weight was incorrect. It was on the website as 6'1" and 260 pounds. And his dad actually commented on the video that I did, and he informed me that he's actually 6'3" and 285 pounds. So John Graves III, once again, this is a grad transfer as well. So you're going to get that depth, experience. And why is he a huge get? He played in the Southland Conference. He played in 12 games back in 2021, making 11 starts on the interior defensive line. As we know, our defensive line is pretty stout. Like, we have Devontae Davis. We have Humphreys at defensive, and we have Niles Gaddy, Antonio Doyle. Let's see. Philip Webb's at linebacker, but he might also play the defense on the line as well, on the edge. But basically, but just adding depth. So this is a great get. Adding depth to our defense, which, as you can see at the spring game, they were very dominant. Everybody was talking about the offense, but I think the offense did pretty well considering they're playing against the number 1 FCS defense. I think they did pretty well. So a little bit about John Graves. He finished with 25 tackles, 9 solo, 4 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks. 5 tackles and 2 sacks in a victory over Northwestern State. Posted 4 tackles at Louisiana Tech, and he was credited with a sack and a 38/35 win at McNeese. They removed his 2000 22 stats once he hit the portal. He started his entire time there. And this is Mr. Graves. Well, it would be Junior. This is his dad. So thank you for coming on the live, Mr. Graves. I was not able to get his 2022 stats. I did look for them. But Mr. Graves let us know that his son did start the entire time there. So I'm excited as well for this particular young man coming in and adding depth and experience. And as you know, Coach Weeks is no longer with the program, but I am confident that Coach Bradley will be able to continue that dominance for the defense. And Mr. Graves, I did go ahead and update your son's height and his weight. So this particular young man, at this point when he dropped, I was like, okay, I'm not doing any more videos. Doug Fowler. Doug Fowler. Yeah. I have his last name spelled incorrectly. But anyway, Doug Fowler, once that recruit came through, I was like, okay, I am not doing any more videos. It's just too much. It's way too much. I can't do it. So Doug Fowler is 6'3", 315 pounds. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at his information as well. Let's see what we got going on with Mr. Fowler. So he is a JUCO prospect. And he comes from Dodge City Conquistadors, which I have not heard about them. He's originally from Dunedin, Florida, and he went to Dunedin High School. They don't really have that much information about him. But he was there his freshman and sophomore year. So as far as our offensive line, that's Coach J.O. And he is doing a phenomenal job with recruiting those offensive linemen. So I think that, once again, that's a huge get for us to add to the offensive line, because now on the offensive line, I'm going to go ahead and read to you what we have, because I know there were some complaints about, the offensive line, it doesn't look right. There's not enough people out there. So I'm getting ready to read to you the offensive line that we currently have. Let's see. So we have Zion Gilmore is offensive line. He's a sophomore. And this is from the spring game roster. Almetrius Smith is offensive line. He's a junior from Coahoma Community College. Deontay Graham is offensive line. Josiah Roa is offensive line. Evan Henry and Shamar Allen. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then let me see where the rest of the offensive line. That's 7 right there. And let's see what the other one is. Of course, we have Debo Hayes, who's on the offensive line as well. When did Coach Weeks leave? So I do not have a definitive answer for when he left. I don't know when he left, but he did leave. When did Coach Weeks leave? Yep. So he left, but I'm not really for certain the exact day when he left, but I know he left. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at a little bit of film. So this first batch of film that we're going to go ahead and look at is from the defensive back from Wofford. So what's interesting about the defensive back from Wofford is, of course, the fact that he, Jaheim Hazel, that he came from the same school as Irv Mulligan. So I'm wondering if Irv Mulligan helped recruit him. But this is his film for Jaheim Hazel. And Doc has a show. His show starts at, I want to say show starts at 8 o'clock. Let me see. Doc, what time your show starts? 7 or 8? I think his show starts at 8 my time. And just looking at him, he's able to break up the pass, stay on the wide receiver. So good coverage is always good. The ability to break up passes, always good. Let's see what else I have. Let's see what else other film I have. I have some film from Solomon. That's him tackling right there, making sure that he quickly brings down the runner. So once again, and I found that Solomon was definitely a hard hitter. Like, he's not afraid to go after the ball, not afraid at all to try. So I'm excited about all of these recruits. So what do you guys think? Doc, come to the chat and tell them about your show, because I am pretty sure I forgot when I know you said that your show starts. Does your show start like in 20 minutes, or it starts in an hour and 20 minutes? So as you can see, hard hitter, ball getter. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Solomon, and he's coming from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Doc.
What's going on, y'all?
Do you start in 20 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes?
I'm actually starting to 20. Hold on, I got it. I actually start in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
20 minutes.
Okay. You want to shout out your show real quick?
Oh yeah, man. Yes, my dear. Yes, ma'am.
Because
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
definitely be doing.
It's HBCU Overdrive. Y'all know what it is. And pretty much that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be pretty much like an hour and a half, close to a 2 hour show tonight. That way we can. I'm gonna shift it over to Ken Clark so we can keep this train rolling with, all Jackson State all the time. Since people say that Jackson State ain't got no content out there, and we putting it out there for them, and they build, they putting out the content for us also. We just gonna be
It's
We're just gonna be
everything.
greedy
It's
about it.
everything. Yeah, it's everything Jackson State.
So,
Everything Jackson State.
but what I'm gonna have tomorrow, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. Is tomorrow's show is why so much hate for Jackson State? And if you got that much hate in your heart, come on the show and air it out.
Wow. I think there's a lot of they get out enough of the hate over on Jeff Lightsey's show. So I just try to bring a different perspective over here for right now. No petty.
Oh,
No
oh,
me
not
being petty.
now. Jeff Lacey doing a good job. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was on.
I
I just
know
called this show.
they be coming in there coming guns a blazing
They
ready.
they they be hating on my boy Lacey, man. Y'all stop the hate on Lacey, man. He doing a good job covering for Jackson State and just with HBCU football. Israel, it was wild because oh my God, you got some people on there that call in, seem like they ain't took their medicine for the night. You got some people call in, seem like they done drunk about a whole bottle of Mad Dog 2020. You got a whole
Huh?
bunch of people. You now I ain't saying real drunk, but they just be calling. They be reckless with the calls. But you know what though? He pushed back. He does push back, and it's a good thing that he does that because it's like uh people try to take over the show, and like hey, I got to put you in your place.
Right, right.
And it was crazy. We had people on there because I caught the middle part of it on my way home because I was on the bus, and I'm like, oh my goodness, let me listen to this. And then I called in when the Southern fans got on there.
The
That let me
Southern
re-
fans was they still hurt about our kicker.
let let me that they now what the Southern fans are talking about is the past 8 years before Prime got there, where they was trying to when they won. Now, I'm gonna say this about Southern fans. I mean, it's a good thing that you beat us, but you couldn't even get past I'm about to say Arkansas, Alcorn to get to the Celebration Bowl. He had never been to the Celebration Bowl. One person gonna come on there and say, they're gonna say, "Well, we had the Heritage Bowl, bro." That was the time I was in middle school and high school. That was in the '90s. We talking about in the last 7, 8 years, you have not been to a Celebration Bowl. The people that stopped you from going there is Alcorn. It was Jay Hobson, and then it was Fred McNair. Come on now,
I
come
mean, you
on.
saw me on the show the other day regarding Southern, and I try not to be petty, but they've been coming for our kicker. Y'all acting like
Oh,
that man didn't hit that winning field goal a
oh,
couple years
Luke
ago.
came in and it came in on Twitter and hit him upside the head. Like I told my boy, what you didn't have to do him like that. Stall him out, Debo. Stall him out. You ain't have to do him like that. Like literally. Like I was like, man, come on now. Come on now. It's all look, tomorrow's show. All the haters can come on the show. It'll be respectful
Well,
because
quickly, this is what is being said on on the waves, which I feel like if you are a Jackson State athlete or a student, that you don't necessarily have to speak up. You don't have to speak up because
mm,
Jackson State's going to do enough speaking up behind you.
that is true.
So this says certain podcasts need to be shut down because most of them do not know what they're talking about. It's sad because there are no strong facts behind it.
Oh Lord, that
So the
means
only I don't know who he
uh,
was
I
talking.
kind of know what he's talking about. He talking about
What?
them old. He talking about ODRs. Those ODRs.
What's the ODR? DDR? What's the
Mm-mm.
ODR?
Take it.
Okay. The ones that were following the DDR became ODRs. I
Mm-hmm.
got you. I got you. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
this
Hey,
is
he
one
and
thing
they
that
have a.
Jackson State is going to be. Jackson State has been. And when I say Jackson State, I don't mean alum, I don't mean fans.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is the administration, the coaching staff, the athletic department, the athletics, they have all been very graceful with the exit of the former coach
Yeah.
and at all the stuff that's been going on, they have been silent. You know, they don't have to speak up, they don't have to talk. So, in response to everybody who's hating, that is why we had this. That's the response. So these players, they already knew they were going to commit.
Right.
They already had their photos ready. Everything's all set in stone. All they were waiting for is hit that text message that says go ahead and drop it. And that's
Hey,
what the response is to anyone that has something negative to say about Jackson State, or anybody that has something negative to say about our coach. This
yeah.
is this is the response. Jamon McNeil, Jaheim Hazel,
I,
Solomon
Solomon, I
Rogers,
like that pick. Like
John Graves the third.
he made his John Graves made his decision Saturday night.
Yes, came
He
out.
made he Saturday night. He already made, and Brian ODR. He get ready to go on there on in about 12 minutes. So you'll figure it
Listen,
out.
this is the thing though. This is the thing. Everybody is talking about Jackson State. So, regardless of if you're hating or you have something negative to say or you're advocating for Jackson State, at the end of the day, the theme is Jackson State.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this about Savion leaving. Savion hasn't been at or on this team for months, probably a month and a half, maybe a month
Right.
and some change. Um, he didn't get to go to pro day. He wasn't there. Jeff, we heard you was over here battling it out.
What's good, Jeff?
Battling it out, Jeff. They said you was over there, that they was over there cutting up on your live. So, Savion was already off the team. And I like that Coach TC Taylor was gracious enough the first time that he was asked about Savion. He said Savion is making some decisions. He's not on the team right now. Then they asked him again at the blue and white game, and it's Savion's no longer a part of the team. So, anybody that's in Jackson State, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's been following, even if you've been following from a negative aspect, you already knew Savion wasn't at spring practice. Let me go ahead and pull up some. I'm gonna drop a dime for you right quick. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And then we're gonna close it out so that you can get ready to do your live.
All right.
You
Yeah.
said you was gonna do your live soon.
Yeah,
But
y'all shift on over to me.
I'm gonna show you anybody who's, this is what I'm looking at from my point of view, something that I'm looking at. And then that's my thing. There is probably 20 to 30 people who are, student athletes that have entered the transfer portal. Matter of fact, there was a article done for Colorado and all the portals that jumped in, or all the athletes that jumped into their portal, including
Oof.
somebody who recently committed. We ain't heard nothing about that. Y'all
Ooh.
not even talking about that.
Let's talk about the fact. Let's talk about the fact that he lost 3 DBs on the same day in the portal.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about that. What is so significant about Liberty? Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get these players, but what I am saying is it is interesting that this Liberty offensive lineman is transferring as a graduate transfer.
Yeah.
And you know that our offensive coordinator is Coach Maurice Harris, who used to coach at Liberty.
Right.
So this is interesting. I'm wondering, Is there a chance that this particular student could, go? And here's another one. This is running back Shredro Lewis. He's entering the transfer portal as a graduate transfer. 2022 rushing stats, 529 yards, 8 touchdowns, Liberty running back. So why am I even bringing this up? Well, because our offensive coordinator, he has a certain type of offense that he runs. And everybody who watched the game, I would go to Cut Day Sports, go back and watch that game. And the reason why I think Grayson Thompson was so effective is because of how fast-paced he was going. That's how fast-paced the Coach Harris wants his offense to be. He said in an interview that he wants about 75 to 80 snaps. And I think that that's one of the most important things to analyze, is that Coach Harris is expecting for the offense to snap quickly. Because if you are able to set and snap quickly, the defense is either going to get an offsides call, they're not going to be able to set up correctly, you're going to be able to get a playoff quickly. So if you look back at those tapes, Grayson was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. You go here, you go here, you go here. Grayson knows signal calling. Right. So he knows how to call. He knows he might not know exactly what Maurice Harris's play calls are, but he knows signal calling. He knows what to look for. So I think one of the reasons why Grayson was so effective is because he was definitely rushing them to get back on that line and get there and snap. So Jason Brown and Phillip Short, they were not as quick. So because they were not as quick, you know what type of defense we have? They were able to rush the quarterback. Ooh. Let me.
Hey, y'all go ahead and be ready, because I'm getting ready to change out this work shirt and be ready to go on in a little bit.
Okay. I'll send them right on over as soon as you go live.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good one.
So, and then I want to go ahead and share. I'm going to be petty. I am. I'm going to be real petty. You want to know why I'm going to be petty? Because for some reason, these folks always have like our name in their mouth, but they don't never talk about who's entering into the transfer portal on their side. Nobody ever. So let's talk about that real quick. And then I'm going to stop being petty. But we need to talk about it because for some reason, we're always getting mentioned. It says 7 Colorado players have entered the NCAA transfer portal since it opened on Saturday. Versus how many do we have? Versus Willie Gaines, who was already in the portal, and he's making announcements that he's officially in the portal, but he had already announced that he was in the portal. Savion Wilkerson, Jasper Freeze, that's 3. Who else entered into the transfer portal? So let's go ahead and dive into this. Since they're all on Jeff Lightsey's live, worried about what we doing and worried about what we got going on, let's talk about your school. Defensive line Ryan Williams enters NCAA transfer portal. He was rated a 3-star prospect in 2021, and he's in the portal. So what's up with that? They talking about they got sold out tickets. Y'all are sold out to do what? To lose? Sold out to watch yourselves get beat? Like, stop worrying about what we got going on. So, and you know what? They have excuses for it. Many schools will have an influx of players entering the portal. So why are you so worried about Jackson State? Instead of saying we're coming, they're saying we're transferring. Instead of saying we're coming, they're saying we're leaving. This, and look, this ain't even me being petty. This is just me reading what they're saying. Like, it's not we're coming, it's we're leaving. Hey, I didn't say it. This man said it. I'm just repeating what they said. I did not say that. We're transferring. Like, no, we're not coming. And listen, I'm a blogger, sports. I deal with sports, and I'm just reporting the facts. Okay. I didn't make these narratives up. I didn't make these up. But I think it's telling that the majority of the people that left were the majority of the people that entered into the transfer portal were DBs. Now that's saying something. Anyway, let me get up off that, because once again, I want to talk about how great and awesome it is to be a Tiger. And before everybody heads on over to Doc's Live, we're good. We're good. I'm not trying to be funny, but any team that was 1-11, we're good. We're good. So instead of worrying about what Jackson State is over here doing and what we got and who, y'all worry about what y'all got. So I'm gonna go over these again, just so y'all know. Let me check my phone, because somebody else might have dropped while we're sitting here. They just, we already have our 25 to 30. The ones that Coach TC Taylor said that he's going to go get, we already have them. He just has to send a message that says, go ahead and drop it. Boom. Jamon McNeil, linebacker, at the linebacker position. Once again, the defense, awesome at the spring bang. Awesome. So at this point, we're just adding depth. And I have all confidence that Coach Hammock, Coach Bradley knows what they're doing with that defense. Jaheim Hazel, defensive back. Coach Quinn already recruited 3-star Nyreek Sharp out of a whim. If you have a chance, go back and look. Nyreek Sharp is a 3-star. He's coming out of high school from right around Atlanta, Georgia area. They thought he was Cristobal to Georgia Tech, and he decided he was coming to Jackson State. He was actually at the game this past weekend. Solomon Rogers, safety, out of Charlotte, University of North Carolina, Charlotte. And most of the people that are coming in are from this batch, like the 25 that he's talking about. Most of the time, they're either going to be grad transfers or they're going to be JUCOs. And the reason for that is seasoned and already have experience. So that means that the only thing that you would have to tweak is basically what type of defense or what type of offense you're setting up. John Graves III, defensive lineman. On my first video, I announced that Southeastern Louisiana, that they might have his height and weight wrong, because when these schools enter in the players' heights and weights, they do not update them. So he's actually 6'3" and 285 pounds. His dad corrected me on my video, so I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that. He's big. Doug, and it's supposed to be Fowler. I have Flower, so excuse me, Doug, for that. He's an offensive lineman, 6'3", 315 pounds. He's from the JUCO route. So those are the transfers that I have so far that committed to Jackson State just in the past 2 days. We're getting some good size. Seven McGee's legs are huge. See, and that's the thing. Like, you can't really tell how big these athletes are from looking at the screen. This is just a window for Coach Prime, like JSU and all the other schools, to specifically shed that the leftovers off of that 1-11 roster. I mean, for me, I'm not going to respect that. I would rather, when he first came in, he said, y'all might as well go ahead and hop in the portal. They should have just listened, because now you're faced with this issue. When they had a chance to, hop into the portal, they could have went to another school, enrolled, even if they were a second time transfer, because that coaching was in place. Now the coaching rule, where if your coach changes, you cannot automatically transfer. So that's why you'll see so many of these different players, if they're transferring and it's their second time, they're going to be grad transfers. The difference is that academic requirements are still in play with the other school. You'll have to outbid other Power Fives and keep key guys from leaving as well. So for me at this point, I think with over 6,000 people in the transfer portal, you're not really competing or outbidding anybody. See, with Colorado, it's Colorado and it's a Power Five, and they like to show off all the flashiness they have. And you have two student athletes that have $1 million NILs. So what does that mean? That means that if somebody's coming to Colorado, they're expecting NIL deals. With HBCUs, and it's different. It's different. So Coach Prime selling these kids a dream, saying that it's bigger than just NIL deals, and it's bigger than you, and it's bigger than me. That resonates differently with student athletes. Like, I'm making a sacrifice, but I know I can still get to the NFL. Jackson State's ability to have 27 NFL teams represented at the Pro Day, that's definitely a check mark. Jackson State's ability to have Under Armour this past week and this documentary that's getting ready to drop, that is definitely a check mark and a plus. Jackson State and FAMU will be on ESPN2 for the Blue Blossom Classic. So what that means is Jackson State and all HBCUs are still in their own lane. We don't have to compete, because what we have to offer is different than what Power Fives have to offer. So with that being said, I'm going to get off of my high horse. Who said regular ESPN? Where does Brian Wilson think that the ESPN game that's in Colorado is going to be shown? It's going to be on the same ESPN show as the one that Jackson State had last year. Steaks, and steaks, just like our previous coach said, how many steaks can you eat? How many steaks can you eat? I don't know about you, but I would take soul food over steak and shrimp and lobster any day. That's just me. It says scroll up. Yep, JSU is a brand. And let's not forget that JSU is the number one in draft picks. That's correct. 42 overall of FCS schools since 1979. And this is correct as well. He transferred to West Virginia, then to Jackson State. No one, and let me just make this clear, I'm not going to hate on any young man that decides to leave Jackson State. Dreontae Davis will be a Jackson State alum. Sivion Wilkerson, I don't know his situation, but I do know this. If he wants to play next year, he has to be a graduate of Jackson State University. Willis Patrick is a graduate of Jackson State University. So another one, Dalen Baldwin is a graduate of Jackson State University. So what does that mean? What that means is that these young men, especially the ones that are two-time transfers, they're going to be graduates of Jackson State University. When Shiloh goes on in life, where is he going to say he has his degree from? Jackson State University. So, to that effect, them getting their degree, especially for a lot of these young men who some of them will not actually go to the NFL because it's only like 2%, their degree is going to say Jackson State on it. So for that, I commend them, because you're still going to be a part of the, regardless of where you decide to go. And I'm hoping that they will, come back. There is no love lost. And the last thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to address the Quay Davis allegations, which I'm sure they're going to be addressed later on tonight, but I wanted to address them real quick just because I thought it was interesting that Mr. Quay was throwing shots and saying, I don't know if it was from a place of maybe he was upset or what, but I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick and give you my quick thoughts. Maybe it was just a little SWAC banter that was blown out of proportion. I didn't take it like that. Let's see. Let me see if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can blow that up so you guys can actually see it. So this is a live chat replay. This is Ken Clark's show, where Quay Davis said that he missed the jack. So Quay Davis said that he missed Jackson State University, or does he say he misses the jack as in he misses Jackson? I thought it meant that he missed. I thought it meant that he missed Jackson State. That's what I took it to mean. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, we getting all these haymakers that Coach T.C. Taylor's not a real coach. So I don't understand what happened that made him want to say that about, we didn't do nothing. We didn't even do nothing. There you go. You can see it now. Missed the jack. Quay Davis said that he misses it. Now, this is in... I'm hoping that he does well at Texas Southern. He's not going to beat Jackson State, but hopefully he'll be able to get some playing time and get some catches in there. But it's funny how people will do a 180 when things don't go their way. I'm guessing nobody responded to his statements that he missed Jackson. I didn't know if he wanted us to tell him that we missed him too or what. But Mr. Quay Davis, you done open up a can of worms, because now, when we go and we beat Texas Southern, it's kind of like, now y'all done started some beef. And it didn't have to be like that. You done started some mess. And then for Southern, who keeps picking on Luke, Like he wasn't giving y'all the game winner. I am confused. Like I'm confused. Y'all act like that man didn't, or that young man didn't kick y'all that field goal to win the game. Y'all switched up quick on that man. Y'all didn't waste no time once Dooley came in. And I agree that it might be a little bit of misplaced anger. But that's why you don't TC Taylor, you can't disrespect the coach. He's our head coach. And rightfully so. If he feels like you're being disrespectful or you're in and out, you don't know whether or not you're gonna leave or be in there, go ahead and dismiss him. Yep, that was a big game against Alcorn. He won that game for y'all. And then now y'all are all down his throat talking about, oh, you this, that, and the third. Dang, what happened to all the love? You see how quickly they switched up on him. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Y'all go ahead and head on over to Docs Live. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I might be coming back on Thursday because I'm expecting some more drops throughout the next 24 to 48 hours. We're going to listen to some Jackson State music on the way out.